Hey everyone, Fabian, Empire Build Academy, jumping into another Evony video, and today I want to talk about the 2 reasons why accounts are being closed in 2026. So the first reason is actually something that is threatening a few accounts. I have heard a few stories from people talking about the fact that their account has been closed. I've read things on Reddit as well. There's no warning, no countdown, you're locked out, and there are various reasons why accounts are being closed by Evony themselves in the game, and this can be down to multiple reasons, including using bots, macros. Auto clickers are also something that are not allowed, which is very, very interesting because I actually do use auto click myself in terms of training troops and things like that, which you may have seen a video in the past. Also scripted farming and also having way too many farm accounts as well is all against the terms and conditions that Evony set out for the game. Another one as well is account buying and selling. This is another one. I've actually seen someone yesterday on our alliance. We had a little bit of a fallout actually with our alliance where we sort of split back into 2 groups again. Everything's all okay. The server is going to be perfectly fine. It was just there was a disagreement which meant that we sort of went our separate ways as to 1429 are on their own and 1525, which is the server I'm from, are in a different alliance. And that's kind of the way it's going to stay, which has its benefits. It also has obviously negative impacts as well in terms of monster rallying and being involved together in big, massive, powerful rallies. But it is what it is. And like I say, thankfully, the server is okay. But someone did actually mention in the comments that they were selling their account. And normally what happens is someone will change their name to accounts for sale or something along those lines. And that's exactly what happened yesterday from this fallout. But again, it's another one where you are not allowed to do it. It doesn't matter if you change the email. It doesn't matter if you change the password and you transfer everything over. Evony can detect that you have been selling your account or you are someone that's buying the account. The account can be closed. Another very common one, and this is something actually I did on a previous game, and it was one of those, what was it? Mafia War, I think I did it on. I was hearing about people who could get refunds on all the different packs that you buy. And as an example, if we go into this, imagine if I was to buy this pack $99.99, and then what I'd do is I'd go into, for me, Google Play Store, but also you can do the same on Apple as well, and then request a refund for this pack for whatever reason you give. There's multiple reasons you can give. The pack wasn't what you was expecting. There's missed sale, blah, blah, blah. There's so many different reasons that are in there. But again, if you do this, this is another reason why Evony can also close the account. If they notice these chargebacks are on there, some games actually give you an opportunity, like a 24-hour countdown. I think that's what happened on Mafia War, where you've got an opportunity to repurchase that pack, pay that pack again, and then your account will continue. But if not, the account gets closed. And same can happen with Evony as well. And they do ban pretty fast for this as well. Even accidental disputes can also trigger issues. But again, that is something you can obviously sort out when you can provide proof of the pack and that you've done everything right. And there's nothing wrong from your side, then that is also okay. On another game called Iron Throne, back in the day, it's not called Iron Throne anymore, it's called Rise of Firstborn. But again, this is something else that can happen with Evony, is exploiting bugs or glitches. There was a big, massive one on Iron Throne back in the day. When it was called Iron Throne, it was owned by Netmarble. And basically what had happened was there was a certain event where people were able to manipulate and get a ridiculous amount, and I mean ridiculous amount of resources. But on top of that, not just the resources, they were also able to get other rewards as well. And then basically it was a little 6-hour period that this was open, and everyone was saying this is unfair for all the people that paid, all the people that weren't involved in the glitch. There was literally less than 10% that benefited from that, but those 10% that did were huge, gigantic. And one of the things they actually did on Iron Throne at the time was have worldwide events that everyone could play in. So it would be every single server all in one big massive event, and then these people were going in there and they were just ridiculously powerful, and the game sort of lost its way and eventually got sold to Kicks. No, it's not Kicks. I can't remember who it was. It was sold to someone from this fallout, and the game has never been the same again. But there are other instances, and Evony is no different, that if you do exploit these bugs, exploit these glitches, there is a potential that they will do something to the account to try and claim back whatever it is that you've benefited from. Or alternatively, if it's too much and it's just way too far, then also they can close the account. This is one I've not seen very often, but it's flagged up in my research, is sharing accounts. So logging in from from different countries, multiple IPs, multiple devices constantly. It can raise red flags and can also potentially, I actually noticed something when I went on a recent trip to America, that I get charged £9.99 for the packs over here. But when you go to America, you're charged in dollars, and those dollars work out cheaper than the British pound. So you can obviously do things like that. I didn't actually purchase any packs over there at the time, but I did notice it. And I guess this could be something else that they could potentially get involved with your account for doing that kind of thing. I'm not sure if it's happened, but it's something that perhaps if people are using VPN and things like that to try and pretend they're in a different country to get packs a lot cheaper than they should, I guess can be a risk to your account. When these kind of instances happen, it genuinely can happen at any time. So you could be playing along thinking you've got away with it for whatever it is you may have done, and weeks, maybe even months pass by with no contact from Evony, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, something is flagged, and then your account is then limited, closed, whatever it may be. And this is something else that we also need to be aware of. So what should we do to protect ourselves from this? It's quite simple. Bind your account is number one, making sure that you've got login access via Gmail, Facebook, wherever it may be that you do. Never use third-party automation to do anything. Don't buy accounts. That's the number one. I see people selling accounts all the time, and it does exist, and I'm sure people do get away with it, but again, it's still a massive risk, not just from Evony closing your account as well, but also I've heard instances where people have bought an account and then the person who sold it has done something to get it back and used it as a scam kind of activity to try and get people to buy an account just to get the money and then lock access to the particular account that you're going after. So that's another one to be aware of. Don't share login details. This is another crucial one, especially if you are considering selling. You have to be really aware that it is against the terms and conditions, and it is something that can risk your account. Avoid exploit abuse. So if you notice something, you notice a glitch, my advice would be stay clear. I know it's tempting, it's very tempting. And when I talked earlier about the Iron Throne issue, I'm sure if I'd have been on at the same time, anyone else would have been on at the same time. We all complained that we didn't get involved, but if we'd have been there at that moment, you are likely to get involved. Why wouldn't you? But what I would say is this is a risk. There was a lot of fallout from that Iron Throne thing that was trying to take things back. I'll be honest, the 10% actually did benefit, even with all of those chargebacks of taking gems and resources from the account. It was nowhere near what the people benefited from. But again, it's still a risk. And personally myself, to keep your account safe, I wouldn't get involved. Using secure payment methods is another one as well. And also the VPN can be tempting. I mentioned it, that you could potentially use a VPN, go to a different country, get it via a cheaper method. I haven't done it myself. I don't know if it genuinely works, but I'm sure it exists and I'm sure people have tried it. But again, it is also risky. And the last one is keep communications professional in chat, because you can also lose your account if you are in any way discriminatory, racist, aggressive, abusive, whatever it may be. If you are talking in chat and you are causing issues that people can take offense from, then rightly, in my opinion, you should be potentially banned from using the account. Normally there is a couple of warnings with these things. I guess it really depends on how bad the conversation and the language used was in relation to that. The next one I'm going to go on to is actually a different thing, and this is something that's happening more and more, especially at the latter end of 2025, even more so going in 2026. Woke up this morning, this had absolutely nothing to do with what has been going on, but when I went into chat, what I did notice is someone from a previous server on the chats. Let's have a look all the way to the top. Okay, it looks like it's not in there. I did notice it when I was on the mobile, so maybe I can access it from mobile but not via the desktop client. But I did notice an account that said deleted with a number next to it, 41442226. When you clicked into it and you clicked on the icon, you clicked on the profile, it said this is a deleted account. And this is something I'm seeing far more in Evony 2026. And basically what's happening is people are closing their accounts, they're fed up with the game, they no longer want to play it. After years of grinding, people are now giving up after spending thousands of hours of time grinding and even potentially money. The person that I noticed the account had been closed actually had a military academy level 6, which for me means they were definitely quite strong. They were definitely very powerful, and also the potential for a lot of money to have been spent on the account. And there's a couple of reasons why this is definitely happening, and one of the big reasons is it always feels like you're having to purchase, you're having to buy, you're always needing the next big thing to keep in touch with the other big spenders. I'll give you an example actually. At some point in the future, we all know it because I've said it many times, I will be getting a new general with my general tokens that I saved up. But these general tokens have been saving up now for over 10 months. But as soon as I get them 10 months, yes, I'm not going to get the research buffs. Yes, I'm not going to get all the other buffs that come with owning a big account. But what I am going to get is all the buffs that come with a brand new general. So the 60% is what we seem to be on defense, attack, HP, wherever they may decide to distribute that. The Ascension stars are way different. If I go and have a look at my general Marcus Agrippa, here's my current range general. You can see I've got him to 5-star. You can see I've got all the different things on there. But when I go and look at his stats, this is going to be nothing compared to the new range general that I'm potentially going to get whenever that may be, because I'm going to have the most updated buff style general via this method. But if you're a payer and you want to stay up with that, if you want to keep up with that, you're going to potentially have to spend. And that is why Evony have done it very, very clever. There are other games where you can play and everyone has the same general, everyone levels up the same general, and it's just how far you take that particular general. On Evony, it's different because they bring out a brand new general every 2 weeks. So you're always behind on the latest general, especially if you haven't purchased for a few months. There's always that chance that you need to purchase to stay in touch with other people. Another thing, people could be just getting fed up with the game. They're fed up with all the different events. They've just had enough. Maybe they're even in a big, powerful alliance and they've just decided time's up. And the only way they could take themselves away from the game is by going into your settings, going into your account, and then going to that lovely red button there at the bottom, delete account. Now, what happens when you click on that? I don't personally click that button, but just in case there was something that actually happened with this account. But basically, when you go into there, you click on the delete account, it asks you, are you sure? Is this the one thing you want to do? And then I think it's a 30-day countdown from when you do that to your account being deleted. I guess this is an opportunity to say, within those 30 days, actually, I've changed my mind, which is what Evony want. They want you to stay. They want you to continue spending. So they're going to give that 30 days to make you reevaluate that decision and if that decision is right. But a lot of people, big spenders included, are using that delete account button to finally move away from the game. And if it's something that you are struggling with, maybe you've got things going on in your personal life, maybe you've got financial issues, but the Evony game just keeps it, it can be like a gambling addiction. I know there's Resident Evil Survival Unit, and on that base building game, they actually put a limit where you can restrict how much you spend on the game. But for me, in my honest opinion, base building games are no different in reality to gambling, because you are purchasing packs in the hope getting something that's going to improve your account. But as we all know, it's worth nothing, especially if you're not continually spending to stay up with the other spenders. So you could be spending, let's just say, thousands a month. It happens. There's plenty of people who do it. There's probably plenty of people who do it more. And if they wanted to get away from that spending once and for all, finally get rid of it, then that delete button and then ignoring your account 30 days, that 1 month, is definitely the way to end it once and for all. So what do we take from these two things? Well, it's quite simple. From the first point in relation to things going wrong from your own manipulation of the game, whether that's you are buying, whether that's you are selling, whether you've benefited from a buff that was a glitch, whether it's a little bit of a difficult one with the glitch because it's not technically your fault. So that one's a little bit harsh. And I did say when the Iron Throne one happened, we'd have all done it if you were there. So glitches is a grey area for me. I don't think you should really lose your account for that reason. Again, if you do chargebacks on any packs you've purchased, these are all reasons that your account can be closed. And then the other one, the second one, is about you just had enough. Whether that's from a spending point of view, whether that's from a real life situation. Some people just go, some people do invest a ridiculous amount of hours on these games. I'm there. I'm one of them. I've done it. Don't do it so much on Evony now. I have managed to pull myself away from the game a little bit and just getting involved with certain events. But there will come a time where I'm like, oh no, I'm back into the Evony game, and then I'll be playing more and more hours and avoiding real life for the game. And this is another reason why people might just turn around and say, okay, I need to get away from it. I need to stop playing this game. And the way to do that is by deleting the account permanently and never playing it again. So that's where I'm going to end the video. I am really intrigued as to any stories you have heard about people potentially getting banned by Evony themselves, or people that you know that were long-term players on the game. Maybe they were big spenders as well, that have decided once and for all it's time to close the account down. And maybe you're even someone who is considering this as we speak, watching this video, and it may be something you do in the future. Do let me know in the comments all your stories and all your thoughts, and I will see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.